Today, I am going to decode for you the book The Long View, with a subtitle, Career Strategies to Start Strong, Reach High, and Go Far. This book opens up a new perspective on career planning, emphasizing that a career is not just a collection of jobs, but an integrated professional journey spanning decades. It suggests that you need to adopt a long-term vision for your career development, creating a personal career plan that lasts at least 45 years. Each person's career is like a 45-year marathon. If you treat it as a sprint, focusing only on immediate steps like next year's promotion or the next job switch, you'll find yourself struggling by your mid-40s or 50s. However, with a long-term vision, starting from a comprehensive career path and planning for at least 45 years while accumulating adequate career fuel, you can navigate out of short-term dilemmas. The author not only raises key questions that illuminate your thinking, but also provides the essential tools and skills needed for long-term planning. Essentially, this book opens up your career vision and equips you with the tools to overcome obstacles. The author, Brian Fetherstonhaugh, is the chairman and CEO of OgilvyOne Worldwide, a renowned advertising agency. In 2018, he added a new title at Ogilvy, that of Chief Talent Officer, where he is responsible for broadly recruiting talent and helping over 20,000 employees to develop their careers further. Since joining Ogilvy in 1983, he has made significant contributions in branding and digital marketing. He has led partnerships with major brands like IBM, American Express, Coca-Cola, IKEA, Unilever, and Nestlé, and has won numerous professional awards. Having a career at Ogilvy spanning 35 years, Fetherstonhaugh embodies the essence of visionary thinking. More valued than his title of chairman, Fetherstonhaugh cherishes his role as a career strategist. He has spent over 2 decades studying career planning, witnessing the career trajectories of countless professionals including Fortune 500 executives, entry-level newcomers, as well as scholars, artists, and athletes. He has given career lectures at prestigious universities like Yale, MIT, Harvard, and Columbia for more than a decade, receiving widespread acclaim. His articles on career planning have been widely disseminated and republished on prominent international media and social platforms such as Fast Company, LinkedIn, and Twitter. The visionary thinking about careers presented in this book is a distillation of his decades of self-development and assisting others in their careers, tested and proven over time. Before we dive into today's discussion, let's start with a quick quiz to see how much you know about career foresight. How many people in your network should have a lasting impact on your career? Here are your options. 1. The more, the better. Option 2. Between 5 and 10. Option 3. No more than 5. I will reveal the answer during our discussion today. Next, I will decode the book from 3 aspects: the 3 career stages, 3 types of career fuel, and how to wisely use your time assets. Let's delve into the first aspect, the 3 major career stages. The author believes that most people don't manage their careers effectively, not because of a lack of ability, but due to a lack of long-term vision in their career thinking. Many people view their career as a series of sprints, focusing only on the benefits of their current job or the next potential salary increase from a job change. However, most people's careers are more akin to a marathon that spans approximately 45 to 50 years. You can calculate this for yourself by subtracting your current age from the age at which you wish to retire, say at 60 or like Warren Buffett, perhaps at 90. Those who excel in the career marathon are usually those who can see the big picture. They possess a strategic vision for their career and adapt their tactics according to different stages, maintaining an appropriate pace throughout the early, middle, and late phases of their careers. We can divide a career into 3 major stages, each approximately 15 years long. The first stage of your career is the first 15 years after entering the workforce. During this phase, you should focus on finding and developing your sweet spot in your career. The sweet spot is where what you love, what you are good at, and what society needs intersect. Early in your career, when you are establishing good work habits, is also a crucial time to lay the foundation for the next stages. For instance, when I was in my 20s and still in the first stage of my career, I had a conversation with the president of a major educational publisher who suggested, although you're somewhat known in your field now, shouldn't you follow Alfred Sloan's advice to try different things before you're 30 to find what you truly love? I confidently replied, I feel incredibly lucky to have found my calling immediately. I love the field of content dissemination. Not everyone is as fortunate as I was. And the trial and error period of the first stage may last longer for most. Many people, fresh out of college and facing career choices, may not even know what they love or excel at, often because even their majors might have been chosen by their parents. Thus, it's not surprising to find oneself feeling lost and anxious in the early years of a career. If you're currently in this state, remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. In the first stage, you have 15 years to learn and explore until you find your sweet spot. Fetherstonhaugh himself went through this exploration. He initially worked in accounting but soon discovered his passion lay in marketing, prompting a swift career change. His daughter experienced a similar journey, earning a PhD in history from Cambridge only to find her sweet spot in financial research. Mistakes and detours are inevitable during this phase. Even those like me, who quickly find their preferred industry, undergo a period of painful growth. This stage requires you to focus on your learning curve and accumulate career fuel for the long journey ahead. If you manage this, you'll ideally position yourself for success. Next, we'll move on to the second stage of your career, which spans the following 15 years. Do you remember? In the first stage, the focus was on quickly finding your sweet spot, developing professional knowledge and transferable skills, and accumulating fuel for your future career. In the second stage, it's time to create real differentiation. You need to identify your peak skills, those abilities where you significantly exceed the average level. These are your talents and the basis of your enduring passion. What you identified as your sweet spot in the first stage should be firmly established in the second stage. Now, your efforts should concentrate on your peak skills to seize unique opportunities and face challenges. One of the most critical and formidable challenges in this stage is the transition from being an executor to a leader. A good leader must always be aware of their cruising altitude because all leaders need to fly high enough to oversee the big picture strategically. However, they also need the capability to attend to details and swiftly resolve critical issues when necessary. If you aim to be a successful leader, you must be able to fly high to analyze the situation and identify key problems and opportunities. You also need the ability to quickly track and tackle targets once they are identified. Once issues are resolved, it's crucial to return to a high vantage point to maintain control of the overall situation. A great leader in the workplace cannot always fly high, detached from the ground, nor can they be so involved in details that they can't see the bigger picture. You must be able to adjust your altitude as needed, managing both perspectives smoothly. I faced this leadership challenge a bit earlier in my career. At 24, when Simon & Schuster was acquired, I carefully considered my options and parachuted into a joint venture publishing company as the deputy general manager. During this time, I had to consider the publishing industry from a broader perspective, quickly switching from one side of the coin to the other. I also faced a culture shock with a completely different corporate culture and demographic, necessitating a shift from the refined, clear-cut culture of a foreign firm to the flexible, dynamic culture of a private enterprise. For a while, I was deeply anxious. However, I quickly focused on establishing and developing new business, building a finance publishing team from scratch, setting up processes and systems, gradually training newcomers, and changing old habits. I had to let go of many stringent practices developed in foreign enterprises to quickly rally people around me. I remember another senior executive at the company advising me, "In crystal clear waters, there are no fish. You can't expect everyone to be elite like in a foreign company. You need to learn to lead effectively in different ecosystems." That period was crucial for me, allowing me to complete my transformation from an executor to a leader. I deeply resonate with several tips the author offers in the book. First, as a new manager, you should start paying attention to your appearance, attitude, and demeanor because these traits will influence your employees' state of mind. They will observe you more carefully than before and will adjust their performance based on yours. Thus, your every action sends signals to your staff, and you need to carefully consider the impact you have. Second, you should begin to build your core team. Every leader needs a close-knit group of colleagues who can complete tasks with high quality. It's important not to choose people who are similar to yourself, but those who can enhance your strengths and compensate for your weaknesses. You should also ensure that their goals, values, and focus align with yours. Remember, every meaningful business problem is solved by a few people in a quiet meeting room. You need to lead with your ears, not just your mouth. Lastly, you should mentally position yourself as a servant, with your employees as your primary responsibility. You are there to help them realize their personal values, not to exploit them for your benefit. Thus, you need to be a trusted resolver, not a distant boss. Belief, integrity, and fairness will bring you strength, not the power of your position. If you successfully navigate the important role transition during this second stage, you will effectively wield the weapon of leadership, which will accelerate your growth and rewards in this phase of your career. Next, let's briefly discuss the third stage of your career, which generally occurs between the ages of 55 and 70, or even later for some. I imagine that most users are not yet in this phase. The core objective during this period is to optimize the long tail of your career, extending your influence. Most people retire around the age of 60, but stopping all work abruptly and entering a leisurely life can be highly detrimental to your physical and mental health. Imagine driving a car at 100 kilometers per hour and suddenly braking. You could easily be thrown through the windshield, and a sudden end to your career can have a similar effect. Thus, it's better to plan this stage thoughtfully, slowing down gradually and easing out of your professional life. Moreover, as medical conditions improve and life expectancy increases, most people at the age of 70 still have a healthy physical condition, fully capable of continuing to contribute. The author's advice for this stage is to transition from being an actor to an advisor. Instead of making decisions at the forefront of an organization, you shift to providing strategic advice from behind the scenes. I haven't reached this stage yet, so I can't share my personal stories with you. However, the book describes a successful third-stage transition involving Tim, a former vice president of Procter & Gamble's Canadian division, who worked there for over 30 years. After retiring, he quickly transitioned into charitable work. This change wasn't merely coincidental, but the result of years of planning. In his early 50s, Tim began considering how to manage the next 30 to 40 years of his life post-retirement. He engaged in many meaningful experiments until he participated in a major fundraising event, which he felt was tailor-made for him. His years at Procter & Gamble had taught him how to raise sufficient funds for a project, and he could apply those skills in his new role. So, although officially retired, Tim still energetically devotes at least 35 hours a week to his new venture. This third stage of his career is a phase of continued happiness and a flourishing life, where his contributions and sharing enhance his overall satisfaction and sense of meaning regarding his career. This concludes our discussion on the first aspect, how to use long-term thinking to plan the 3 stages of your career. Part 2. Now, let's move on to the second aspect of the book, the 3 types of career fuels needed for a sustainable career. The author believes that a truly successful, sustainable career is driven by what he calls career fuels. A smart career strategy involves accumulating substantial fuels throughout your career, constantly renewing them, and then wisely utilizing these resources. He categorizes career fuels into 3 types: transferable skills, meaningful experiences, and lasting relationships. Let's discuss the first type of career fuel, transferable skills. These are the fundamental capabilities you develop in the workplace, such as problem-solving, communication and persuasion, helping and asking for help, attracting talent, and emotional intelligence. These skills go beyond the technical knowledge and jargon needed to complete your current job. They are what you rely on when you move from one job to another, from one company to another, or even from one industry to another. If you're new to the workforce, ask yourself how good you are at solving problems. This may seem like a straightforward question, but problem solving is often a skill that early career individuals lack. Most workplace problems don't have a clear, predefined solution. Can you identify, analyze, and devise a solution without guidance? And are you prepared with a backup plan in case your initial solution fails? If you're not new to the workforce and have established a position within a specific industry, then you should assess your ability to attract talent, another transferable skill. Personal success is fundamentally linked to organizational success. The number of talented individuals who want to work for you ultimately determines the heights your career will reach. If you're currently a mid-level manager at a company, ask yourself, if you were to start a new venture, how many people would follow you without hesitation? The answer to this hypothetical question can help you gauge your appeal to potential talent. Now let's talk about the second type of career fuel, meaningful experiences. These form a crucial part of your career ecosystem. Diversity in your past experiences makes you a versatile career hybrid, which helps to build a more robust career. Biology teaches us that a certain degree of genetic diversity, even mutations, creates species better adapted for survival. Similarly, a career hybrid with a wealth of diverse experiences is likely more competitive and resilient than someone who has always done the same job. When interviewing candidates at Ogilvy, the author places great importance on the diversity of a person's work experiences, assessing their adaptability and flexibility. To develop a broad range of experiences and enhance your versatility, I suggest trying various things. Start your own business, work internationally, volunteer, or study abroad. You need to experiment with different activities and approaches in various settings to shape yourself into a stronger career hybrid. The author also offers an important piece of advice. Consider engaging in intelligent business. This is a rapidly growing industry with a bright future, currently valued at hundreds of billions of dollars and expected to grow at a rate of 15% over the next decade. Intelligent business not only provides opportunities to develop soft skills like brand building and user experience, but also allows you to learn hard skills like profit management and data analysis. So, if you're unsure how to develop your versatility, embrace intelligent business. Lastly, let's discuss the most crucial type of career fuel, lasting relationships. This is the most effective and durable of the three types of career fuels. Once you enter the workforce, you'll increasingly encounter key individuals who significantly influence your career trajectory, forming a pyramid-like network of professional relationships. Let me explain each layer of this pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid are your contacts, the least valuable of your lasting relationships. These individuals might have been in your WeChat contacts for a long time, but have minimal impact on your career. The author describes these superficial connections, where you only exchange contact information without deeper engagement, as unrefined career fuel. I find this metaphor quite apparent. While increasing your number of contacts can expand your professional network, they only become valuable when transformed into deeper relationships. The second layer from the bottom consists of your expert group, which is slightly more valuable than your contacts. These are individuals with special knowledge and power who can help you succeed. However, you need to actively seek out and cultivate these relationships. Remember, the best way to build an expert group is not to start by asking for help, but to offer assistance to others first, which in turn yields valuable support. In the middle of the pyramid are your key colleagues, who currently have a decisive influence on your career development. This group includes 5 to 10 people, with your boss usually at the top since they often decide on your raises and promotions. Also included are certain colleagues and subordinates. You need to identify these individuals, rank them, and consider how each views you and whether they will support your next crucial steps. Above them, closer to the apex of the pyramid, are your supporters. They are mentors and aides who provide advice, support, and motivation, typically numbering no more than 5. You can think of your supporters as benefactors in your career, similar to a career wind at your back or a push forward. They are crucial to your professional life, often leading to extraordinary turning points. Recall the quiz question I posed at the beginning? How many people in your network do you think can have an indelible impact on your career? The answer is no more than 5. You might wonder where to find these supporters and how to maintain deep connections with them once you do. The author suggests the best approach is to remain patient and open. If you consider yourself a student, you'll naturally find teachers. When you realize someone might be a crucial supporter, value and deliberately nurture that mentor-mentee relationship. Do whatever it takes to assist them and spend time together. If you're fortunate enough to have them listen to and guide you, absorb their wisdom like a sponge. At the apex of the career relationship pyramid is you. You are the core of your professional ecosystem. As your own brand manager, your primary job is to continuously monitor your career ecosystem to ensure it supports you positively. This covers the second aspect, the 3 critical types of career fuel. Part 3. Now, let's discuss the third aspect of the book, how to effectively use your time assets. If you asked a seasoned financial advisor how to achieve the highest long-term yield on your investments, they would tell you that the key lies in asset allocation. In other words, whether you have invested in the right things at the right time, be it stocks, bonds, futures, or other assets. The same principle applies to your career, except that the assets you are investing in are not monetary but your time, which is also the most limited and valuable personal asset you possess. So, how can you build your career by strategically investing your time? This requires a begin with the end in mind approach, where your investment decisions depend on what you ultimately want to achieve. Some may wish to build influence, others may seek substantial wealth, and yet others might aspire to become masters in a specific field. Different goals will naturally require different strategies and tactics. However, achieving any goal is a process, not an overnight success. The author offers a critical piece of advice regarding time investment. Divide your time into large blocks and small fragments. Use large blocks for advancing the most crucial aspects of your career and fragments for handling other tasks. Efficient and healthy time management must encompass more than just work. It should also include family, fitness, social activities, learning, and leisure. Naturally, the proportion of time dedicated to each aspect will vary depending on your career stage. For instance, in the first stage, you should allocate large blocks of time to work and learning. In the second stage, you may need to spend more time on family and social activities. And in the third stage, more time should be devoted to leisure and exercise. No matter how busy your work life, your time allocation should cover all these areas to maintain a balanced life. Regarding health, numerous studies show that even minimal regular investment in physical activity yields significant benefits. For example, through thrice-weekly runs of 8 to 10 kilometers, I trained for 3 years to become a marathon runner, achieving what seemed an impossible challenge. My health significantly improved as a result. The author suggests conducting an annual review of your time ledger, which can be highly enlightening. Ask yourself, which time investments have yielded the most inspiring results? How does your planned time allocation compare with your actual schedule? Does your plan need adjustment? By examining the reality of where you invest your time, you can identify your priorities. Your time ledger will indicate where to make changes to become happier and more successful. This concludes our discussion on the third aspect, how to manage your time assets. We've now covered the main content of the long view. Let's briefly recap. In the first aspect, we discussed the 3 major stages of a career. We noted that a career is a marathon lasting 45 to 50 years, which can be divided into 3 stages, each 15 years long and each requiring different strategies. In the first stage, focus on finding your career sweet spot, learning skills, and accumulating experience to lay a foundation for the future. In the second stage, anchor in your peak skills, expand your sweet spot, and undergo a series of transformations from executor to manager. In the third stage, plan for sustainable career development, decelerate appropriately, and enhance your sense of professional fulfillment. In the second aspect, we explored 3 types of career fuels: transferable skills, meaningful experiences, and lasting relationships, with the latter requiring particular emphasis on accumulation and maintenance. These fuels are crucial throughout all stages of a career. In the first stage, you accumulate them. In the second, you utilize them. And in the third, you update and maintain them. In the third aspect, we discussed how to allocate your time assets. Regardless of talent, mastery in any field requires an investment of 10,000 to 100,000 hours. Better allocation of substantial blocks and fragments of time enables a more balanced career and life. The career is only part of the life puzzle. You should not only pursue a career you love, but also build a life you love. Time is your most limited personal asset, and your investment choices will determine your returns. Finally, a few suggestions. If you decide to read this book yourself, you will find that the author provides a wealth of important evaluation tools, such as inventories of career fuels, annual career value assessment tables, and a time investment dashboard. Using these tools, you can step-by-step assess your current professional status. After reading the entire book, you will gain a clear guide to career planning, embrace long-term thinking in your career, and easily tailor a personal career plan for yourself. That's the essence of this book. You can click the description below the video to find the link to the book. Welcome to read it. You can also share this book with your friends. If you like the content of Daily Book Dive, click the subscribe button to stay updated. Your encouragement helps us continue bringing book essence to our community. Congratulations, you've finished another book.